Minnesota's most watched station, WCCO 4 News starts now with a next weather alert.
There are tornado watches and warnings as storms move across Minnesota right now. Here's a live shot from the WCCO mobile weather tracker in Sauk Center. There have been 2 confirmed tornadoes so far. One near Alexandria just after 4:30. Law enforcement confirmed a large and dangerous tornado moving 45 miles per hour. Another in western Minnesota in Chippewa County between Appleton and Milan. Thanks for watching WCCO 4 News, also streaming on CBS News Minnesota. It's a WCCO Next Weather Alert Day, and we've got you covered with what you need to know to stay safe. Meteorologist Lisa Meadows is live within the WCCO Next Weather Center, and we've got some live looks to show you right now. Lake Bemidji, you can see the rain coming down so hard our camera can barely see at a far distance. Just starting not too long ago, the winds picking up as well. Again, much of western Minnesota dealing with tornado watches and warnings. And Lisa Meadows is here to tell you more about where the areas of concern are.
We have some places that we can clear. We have other places that are ahead of the thunderstorm. The good news is we're starting to see this line break up a little bit. And also, as it continues to push to the east, that severe threat does diminish. But we're definitely not out of the woods unless you are to the west of this line of storms. So basically going from Bemidji through Brainerd. We already talked about Alexandria. This line is to the east of Alexandria down through Wilmer. You can see we still have some severe thunderstorm warnings in place. We had a lot of tornado warnings earlier. Now we're back to severe thunderstorm warnings in place for these particular counties. And this is because we're looking at the potential of 60 to 80 mile per hour straight line winds with some of these thunderstorms. This whole line will continue to progress to the east, so it is making its way towards central Minnesota. And notice back behind this, here's where we have all those storm reports from either hail, those tornado reports, or damaging winds. As the storms progress to the east, we do anticipate them to dissipate a little bit when it comes to the severity of them. That is why the moderate risk for severe weather, where we had a lot of those reports, is a 4 out of a 5, and it's to the west of the Twin Cities. So as that line of storms you saw on radar pushes to the east, we should start to see a lot of it start to kind of break up. We do have the tornado watch in place. A couple of counties have dropped off, but this goes until 10 p.m. Once that line of storms moves to the east of this, it's possible that they'll be expiring this, but this line of storms is continuing to push off to the east. I'll go ahead and time it out for you coming up.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. Thunder and lightning passing through the Twin Cities early this Memorial Day. This happened just after 9 in St. Paul near the Highland Golf Course. Another round of severe weather is expected in the metro area within the next few hours. Kirsten Mitchell is at Bede-Makaska in Minneapolis. What are the conditions like now out there?
Now, earlier today, we were out here at the lake. There was a lot of folks out here enjoying the day, but conditions really have changed since then. There's rough waters, and there's still some people out on the water boating, which is not necessarily the safest time to do that right now. So the fun was short-lived earlier for some boaters. Will Fun Rentals closed early because of the winds. They also closed yesterday, so it's really been a rocky holiday weekend. I met one group who went out sailing today. Here's how they described the conditions.
Started out pretty calm. The morning started out and we had no wind and a little bit of thundering, and then by the end of the afternoon here we had a lot of wind and it blew our boat over and scared some people a little bit, but they persevered through and they had a lot of fun. They did a great job.
And of course, now conditions not good to be out on the water, and we have seen some rescue crews here monitoring the situation as some boaters still remain out on the water. So as we know, conditions can change fast. So now is the time, if you haven't already, to make a safety plan and know where to go if a tornado warning does come through. Jeff?
All right, thank you for that update, Kirsten. And keep watching WCCO on TV and streaming to stay on top of these storms as they move across the region. Minnesota is paying tribute and saying thanks to the service members who made the ultimate sacrifices for our country. This was the first big public Memorial Day gathering at Fort Snelling for more than 2 years. Morning showers did not keep veterans, loved ones, and dignitaries away, and the sun did peek through just as the ceremony was getting started. Among the speakers, a retired Command Sergeant Major from the Minnesota National Guard, also known as Governor Tim Walz.
The people who lie here literally stood in the face of tyranny and potentially the loss of our entire freedoms, and they stood it down.
The 200,000 graves at Fort Snelling have all been decorated with small American flags placed there by volunteers, and they will be up for a week until volunteers come to take them down. Another sacrifice being honored this Memorial Day: 22 veterans and 1 person currently serving in the military die by suicide every day. Members of Operation 23-0 put on their rucksacks and marched to Fort Snelling National Cemetery. As Reg Chapman reports, this march is to bring awareness and offer help to stop the massive number of military suicides.
Sometimes all you need is a hug from someone who understands what you've been through and what you're going through right now.
We've all got folks that we miss, and we want to remember them today.
Operation 23-0 members greet each other with hugs. They know the journey they're about to take is an important one. David Peters and Landon Norby started this movement years ago to honor all who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Whether it's a combat vet that's fallen in combat or the wounds that were sustained from combat experience.
22 veterans and 1 currently serving military member take their life by suicide every day. That's over 8,000 men and women a year, and those are only the reported numbers.
The bad thing is we've lost more from suicide than we have from actual combat.
Operation 23-0 raises public awareness of the military suicide rates and provides a network of fellow military members to connect for help and support.
2 years ago, he was still here, so this day means even that much more to me.
Every step along the more than 2-mile trek to Fort Snelling National Cemetery is filled with thoughts of someone special. Norby marches thinking about his buddy who used to walk with him along this path on this particular day.
Less than 2 years ago, my best friend, Brandon, committed suicide. He was a Marine. I worked with him for 14 years at our civilian job together.
Each and every soul on this journey is marching to remember the person who served, and because of that service suffered from the scars of war that are not visible. What is visible is a commitment to always be there.
Be there as a listening ear, being there as a shoulder to cry on. If you start seeing things that aren't looking right, maybe some red flags, reach out.
Reg Chapman, WCCO 4 News.
Help is available. If you or someone you know needs it, call 1-800-273-8255. You see the number there. You can also text 741-741. A quick-thinking 11-year-old was able to convince a car thief to let him and his 4 brothers go. Minneapolis police say the boys were in the family's minivan near Lake Street and 12th Avenue Sunday afternoon. When their parents stepped away, the thief jumped in. The man let the boy and his younger siblings out. About a block later, police are still looking for the suspect and the minivan. Cruising into summer is really going to cost you this year. With the rising price of gas, driving is pricey. In Minnesota today, the average price for a gallon of gas, $4.24. Over in Wisconsin, it'll cost you even more at $4.42. But we've got some tips from the Department of Energy on how to use less gas. Number 1, don't drive aggressively. Accelerating rapidly and braking fast can lower your gas mileage by 33%, and speeding hurts too, as speeds above 50 miles per hour make gas mileage decrease rapidly. Lastly, maintain your car, check emission levels, and make sure to properly inflate those tires. Many Memorial Day traditions are just coming back after the pandemic. We're in Onamia, where a powwow is honoring veterans, and how a special exhibit is featuring the Lax Band members for their contributions to American Indian arts. Then, the first cruise ship in nearly a decade arrives in Duluth, where passengers on the Great Lakes Tour are headed next. Plus, meteorologist Lisa Meadows is here with what you need to know next as the storms move across the region. We'll be right back.
What are you gonna do?
Here! Grab on to me! We can double up!
No, don't worry about it, I'm good! I don't want to detract from your experience!
Just give me your hand!
No, don't sweat it! Probably just a passing thing! The harness fits great though, snug.
Sometimes you just need some help. So if you need therapy, find a licensed therapist at BetterHelp.com.
My bills were due, and I needed cash now. I'm so glad I downloaded Bridget.
I can get $50 to $250 just in time to pay my rent. No sweat thanks to Bridget's Instant Cash.
Signing up only takes 90 seconds with no credit checks, no interest.
I get cash advances whenever I need it, no problem. Bridget saved the holidays for me.
Bridget sent me money when I had an emergency. Thank you, Bridget.
Download the Bridget app today and get $50 to $250 instantly.
Sure, you'll teach her to drive a car. Then use Greenlight and teach her to save up for her own car. Mowing lawns and getting paid. Navigate the world of earning, saving, and investing together. Invest in your best investment. Greenlight.
Introducing Insurify, the newest way to stop wasting your money. Insurify is a free service that compares prices from different car insurance companies in one place. Insurify is used by millions of Americans, and you can save money whether you already have insurance or not. Compare quotes and save money. Go to Insurify.com.
Better skin from your body wash? Try Olay body wash with skincare super ingredient collagen. Olay body wash with collagen hydrates to rejuvenate skin surface cells for healthier looking skin in just 14 days. From dry and dull to firm and radiant. So I can step into my day feeling my best in my skin. And now, try Olay Body Lotion, which hydrates for visibly firmer skin that improves over time. Olay Body, fearless in my skin.
Shall we begin?
Step 1.
Cue.
3.
That's perfectly normal. It's an honor.
Here we go.
Why are you so handsome?
My dad was a weatherman. That sounds big. It's been on my vision board for years.
Welcome to CBS Mornings.
This morning we're going to begin with some good news.
Just follow me, I'll lead the way.
There's always something new under the sun.
Oh, you just put me in a good mood.
CBS Mornings, weekdays.
Hello.
And now the latest information into the WCCO newsroom. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for Hennepin County. Lisa, we knew that this part of the metro would soon be underneath this storm. What else are the updates you have right now?
So I have the timing for you, Jeff. Look at it. So that severe thunderstorm warning is in place further off to the west, and it's moving to the northeast at about 70 miles per hour. Like I said earlier, these storms are moving pretty fast. So you have 70 mile per hour wind gusts that could be a possibility, also quarter-size hail. Let's go ahead and look at some of that timing. Within the next hour, we're looking at this pushing into Minneapolis, other locations like Mound. Of course, the further off to the west you are, the sooner it'll be into your area. So this is going to start to move in here very shortly. That is the severe thunderstorm warning that you see right there. As we look further up to the north, there's another severe thunderstorm warning, and then we basically just keep adding them on as this line of storms moves from west to east. One thing to notice, though, when it comes to some of the thunderstorms further off to the south, that we're starting to see it break apart a little bit. And this is what we anticipated, and that is some good news because that means we might be seeing this diminish. That being said, we definitely still have the next weather alert in place for everyone who is not to the west of these storms. This is a look out across Minneapolis, obviously green weather watcher. We're seeing the severe threat clearing to the west in the western part of the state of Minnesota. Damaging wind threat is now starting to move off to the east, so keep that in mind if that's your location. Cooler and less humid, big weather changes, actually, of course, to follow, because this is a strong weather system. Here you can see it. We had all the ingredients for severe weather with this. Low pressure system in place, warm, moist air, and then we had that wind shear that allowed for those tornadoes to form across the western part of the state of Minnesota. So the tornado probability higher further off to the west. As that line of storms gets closer to the metro, we switch to this, a better chance of seeing those damaging winds. Now, that being said, 60 to 80 mile per hour winds are still strong enough to do damage as much as tornadic winds. 65 to 85 miles per hour is a EF0 tornado. So do keep in mind that we're still looking at damaging winds as the storm system does push off to the east. As we continue to go, and like I said, next couple of hours, storms pushing through. We have this line basically from Bemidji through the Twin Cities into Owatonna. We anticipated this supercell storms further off to the west, turning into a line, what we call a bow echo. I'm sure you can see why. Damaging winds coming out of this with embedded tornadoes still possible. We keep with this going into the 10 p.m. hour before we start to move it on out of western Wisconsin. And look at the temperature difference that we're seeing behind the system. Temps in the 60s. Off to the west. We're at 88 here in the Twin Cities, mid-80s as we look out to Rice Lake. And then tomorrow, it's going to be quite a bit different. Humidity will be gone. Temperatures just into the 60s and the 70s. So the next 7 days, bringing a big change back to the 70s before we drop to, or go to the mid-70s going into the weekend. And then we'll continue to see those temperatures coming in the 50s when it comes to our lows. We have a couple quiet weather days ahead, but we're also going to be tracking more activity. Unfortunately, for a lot of us, the timing is as we head into the weekend. But that's something that we'll worry about then, I guess. Just have to get past this first, which is your severe thunderstorm warning that was in place. All that coming up, Jeff.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. A Memorial Day event remembered Native American veterans and celebrated other contributions of American Indians. Kate Raditz takes us to Mille Lacs County for a powwow with purpose.
The drums and the regalia is just so beautiful.
On this Veterans Day, an annual tradition returned to Onamia.
Red Willow, take it away for the Veterans Song.
The annual Veterans Weekend Powwow says thank you to veterans of past and present.
It is my first time seeing a powwow.
Whether it's your first time or one of many, the dancing, drums, and colorful attire are a piece of Native American history that date back hundreds of years.
I think it's great.
The event was hosted by the Mille Lacs Band and the Mille Lacs Band veterans at the Mille Lacs Indian Museum and Trading Post.
I get to go with my AMVETS friends and present our flags and represent the veterans of Minnesota.
The powwow capped off a grand opening weekend of a new exhibit at the museum.
And it's essentially a social gathering for Native people and non-Native people to come together.
Visitors got to experience the joy of a contemporary powwow and learn about the women of the Big Lake.
The exhibit is also hosting an event this week where visitors can have breakfast and also check out the museum for free. That will be on June 3rd from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
When I go out and dance, I usually think of my daughter and people that we remember in the past.
In Onamia, Minnesota, Kate Raditz, WCCO 4 News.
The exhibit is being put on by the Minnesota Historical Society, and you can find more information on our website. A foggy morning welcomed passengers aboard the Viking Octantis to Duluth. This is the second stop for those taking the new 8-day Great Lakes tour. After going through customs at the Duluth Entertainment and Convention Center, guests are spending the day on shore. The ship will sail on to Bayfield, Wisconsin, and then pass through the locks at Sault Ste. Marie into Lake Michigan. It's the first of 9 cruise ships set to arrive in the Duluth Harbor this summer.
Tigers have high hopes for.
The Twins lose a game and another player to COVID. We've got more next in sports.
What are you gonna do?
Here! Grab onto me! We can double up!
No, don't worry about it. I'm good. I don't want to detract from your experience.
Just give me your hand!
No, don't sweat it. Probably just a passing thing. The harness fits great though, snug.
Sometimes you just need some help. So if you need therapy, find a licensed therapist at BetterHelp.com.
Sure, you should teach him to ride a bike. Then use Greenlight and teach him how to invest in bikes. Teach him to be smart about money, and he'll go far.
Looking for a way to stretch your dollar? With Insurify, you can cut your car insurance bill in half. Getting a deal on car insurance with Insurify is super easy. All you need is a phone and a finger. Scroll through dozens of prices and tap the switch online. That's it. No phone calls and no wasted time. It's just like searching for a flight or hotel online. Enter your car information and Insurify does the rest. Go to Insurify and save today. Check if you're overpaying for car insurance. Go to Insurify.com.
My bills were due, and I needed cash now. I'm so glad I downloaded Bridget.
I can get $50 to $250 just in time to pay my rent. No sweat thanks to Bridget's Instant Cash.
Signing up only takes 90 seconds with no credit checks, no interest.
I get cash advances whenever I need it, no problem. Bridget saved the holidays for me.
Bridget sent me money when I had an emergency. Thank you, Bridget.
Download the Bridget app today and get $50 to $250 instantly.
Better skin from your body wash? Try Olay body wash with skincare super ingredient, collagen. Olay body wash with collagen hydrates to rejuvenate skin surface cells for healthier looking skin in just 14 days. From dry and dull to firm and radiant. So I can step into my day feeling my best in my skin. And now, try Olay body lotion, which hydrates for visibly firmer skin that improves over time. Olay body, fearless in my skin.
The First Lady has to be a special kind of woman.
I am your wife, not one of your girlfriends.
I'm just terrified for my girls. They can kick me out, but they can't make me somebody I'm not.
Shall we begin?
Step 1,
2,
3.
That's perfectly normal. It's an honor.
Here we go.
Why are you so handsome?
My dad was a weatherman. That sounds big. It's been on my vision board for years.
Advantage Detroit late, even when they made the tough play at win astray. Gio Urshela, great stop, but the throw pulls Miranda off first, scoring a run. That's it, folks. Twins had 3 home runs, but not enough. 7-5, the final score. The Tigers win it. A doubleheader scheduled for tomorrow. The other under-18 Women's Hockey World Championships make its long-awaited return next month. Ren Clayton was at practice today with another Minnesota heavy team.
Delayed a couple times, finally pre-camp has begun for the IIHF World Championship team from the U.S.
I think this is everyone's kind of dream and goal, so it's an honor to be here with such talented players.
No championship contested in 2021, and this year's postponed from January. Now, things are back on track.
Coming from high school is a really different change in pace, so I was really excited to come here and play with the best players in the country.
Josie St. Martin is the youngest on the 23-player roster. She's just a sophomore at Stillwater.
I get to do the cheer at the end. The youngest gets to do, so that's pretty fun. And yeah, it's just, I get to look up to great leaders.
Potentially building a long national team career.
And I get to ask them questions, and it's just really nice to be able to talk to people who have gone through the process before.
There are 7 players on the team that live in Minnesota, with 10 that play prep hockey here, continuing the stronghold Minnesota has on U.S. women's hockey.
It's awesome. I mean, it's fun to play against those girls in the high school season and then have them on your team.
It just shows you what Minnesota hockey's all about, and now we get to come together as the USA and show everyone what that is too.
The tournament starts a week from today in Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm anticipating like a lot of fast-paced game, like grittiness in the corners, a lot of energy on the bench.
The United States has won 5 of the last 6 U18 world titles. The gold medal game is scheduled for June 13th. In Blaine, Ren Clayton, WCCO 4 Sports.
All right, more on that coming up tonight at 10 and on the Vikings, but Lisa's got breaking weather news. Lisa?
Yes, we need to make sure everyone is informed of this tornado warning that is in place. And this did just pop up, but it's right in the metro here. Tornado warning for Carver, McLeod, and Wright counties until 6:45 p.m. Now this is radar indicated. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Lester Prairie, or 17 miles east of Hutchinson, and it's moving to the northeast at 75 miles per hour. So I'll go ahead and time this out for you so we can continue to watch this move. Notice how it's embedded in a line of thunderstorms. That line of thunderstorms itself is a severe thunderstorm warned area, and we are looking at the potential of seeing some damaging winds, straight line winds coming out of this. We're going to continue to watch these storms push from west to east, and we're going to keep a close eye here when it comes to, do we have any live pictures or anything further off to the west that we can take a look at? No? Okay. Then we'll just go ahead and watch this loop, and I will zoom in a little bit more and we can get a little bit closer to this tornado warning. So there it is, the tornado warning in 6:45, 7 as we look up to McLeod, Meeker, Wright counties, Carver, Hennepin, McLeod, Wright also looking at that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this is a radar indicated tornado, so that means that we did not have confirmation of it necessarily on the ground. Let's take a look at our velocity. Now this is a lot closer to the radar. You see the radar there in that sweep, so that's going to make it a little bit harder when it comes to seeing this and at least getting a little bit closer, but we can use all of these different tools to try to take a closer look at it. When it comes to the wind shear, this is wind shear, which is basically winds that pretty much turn with height. That is how we see these tornadoes form, and you can see where that wind shear is in place just to the south of Lester Prairie, and obviously this storm is moving off to the northeast, so if you are in that area, you definitely want to head to your safe place. Here's that radar loop, and you can see where Minneapolis is. So within the next hour or so, it's very possible that a severe thunderstorm warned storm will make its way further off to the east. I'm looking at the National Weather Service right now. It looks like they're going to extend the tornado watch to include the Twin Cities. So that means that we are definitely not out of the woods. We'll let you know more details coming up.
What are you gonna do?
Here! Grab onto me! We can double up!
No, don't worry about it, I'm good! I don't want to detract from your experience!
Just give me your hand!
No, don't sweat it! Probably just a passing thing! The harness fits great though, snug!
Sometimes you just need some help. So if you need therapy, find a licensed therapist at BetterHelp.com.
Better skin from your body wash? Try Olay body wash with skincare super ingredient, collagen. Olay body wash with collagen hydrates to rejuvenate skin surface cells for healthier looking skin in just 14 days. From dry and dull to firm and radiant. So I can step into my day feeling my best in my skin. And now, try Olay body lotion, which hydrates for visibly firmer skin that improves over time. Olay body, fearless in my skin.
The First Lady has to be a special kind of woman.
I am your wife, not one of your girlfriends.
I'm just terrified for my girls. They can kick me out, but they can't make me somebody I'm not.
Shall we begin?
Step 1,
2,
3.
That's perfectly normal. It's an honor.
Here we go.
Why are you so handsome?
My dad was a weatherman. That sounds big. It's been on my vision board for years.
found this flaw. There's a loophole that the lottery didn't see, and I won $15,000.
And we go back.
The more we bet, the better the odds.
We're betting $500,000.
Go big or go home.
Are you guys drug dealers?
We're professional lottery players.
That isn't a thing.
It is now.
Jerry and Marge Go Large, rated PG-13.
Tornado warning in place. We also have severe thunderstorm warnings headed toward the Twin Cities. Here's the tornado warning that we have. Carver and Wright counties. Now, this is a radar-indicated tornado. You can see here's Buffalo. Here's Waconia, Hutchinson back behind this line. We have basically a Boeing segment of severe thunderstorms that are moving through, producing straight-line winds. And embedded in these, that's where we do have tornado warnings in place. So that is why we basically have such a small little square box. Now there's an update. This tornado warning box has made its way out to Watertown. Notice from Maple Lake all the way down to Gaylord, this is where we have a severe thunderstorm warning, and that does mean that we're going to continue to watch those types of straight line wind issues as we continue to go on into over the next hour. We do have the severe thunderstorm watch in place, or excuse me, a tornado watch in place until 10 p.m. Here's your update. I was just talking about this. They just added the Twin Cities. So now the metro is underneath the tornado watch. And again, this is a particularly dangerous situation. That is a specific title that is put when a tornado watch looks like it's going to have a high confirmation of multiple strong F2, F3 tornadoes or violent EF4 or 5 tornadoes across the western part of the state. We've already had storm damage and confirmed tornadoes. So we are going to have to continue to watch this as it does push in toward the Twin Cities. As of course, when we have these thunderstorms on the way, if they are off to your west, you want to make sure you know what to do as they move in. Jeff, take a look at some of the things, good reminders for people who are ahead of these storms.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. Now, of course, many of you know these things already, but always a good reminder when you're underneath these tornado watches and severe thunderstorm warnings. If you are in a home, go to a safe space. You hear Lisa say it all the time. So what is that? A basement if you have one. If not, an interior room, specifically one that's away from windows, most likely maybe a bathroom. Just make sure, again, you're not near any of those exterior walls, and best case scenario, you're at least in a basement. If you are outside, try to get indoors and try not to go for a place like a shed or a storage facility. Sometimes those are often made of steel. Those are unsafe. Try to seek out a brick building, something that just looks like a much more sturdy structure that's going to hold in place if a tornado does come through. And if you're driving, seek indoor shelter as we just described. Look for a low-lying ditch, worst case scenario. Get down and cover your head in the car. Of course, you know, we know there's some storm chasers out there, but the everyday person, we want you to make sure you are doing what's necessary to keep yourself safe. So, of course, that's what to do during a tornado. Now, we know that some tornadoes have already touched down in Minnesota and caused damage. If you are in one of those areas right now, here's what to do after a tornado. Continue to stay informed, whether that's through a weather radio, through us at WCCO, because multiple rounds of storms are possible. This event is far from over. Reach out to your family, friends. Text and social media can sometimes be more reliable than an actual phone call. If you have that internet access and can reach them in that fashion, try to do so. Now, when you go outside to assess the damage, wear proper shoes. There could be debris strewn about. You have to be mindful of power lines that have been downed and stay out of damaged buildings. I know there could be temptation to look for people who need help. Call out to them instead before trying to just investigate areas you don't know. You know, how well those buildings are still in place, especially if they sustained damage. And of course, help out those neighbors, offer first aid, be ready to lend a hand, but of course, at the same time, keeping yourself safe. So putting all these things together, we want to make sure you're informed and you're prepared for what can happen in the hours ahead.
Thank you, Jeff. So let's go ahead and get right back to it, where we have the severe thunderstorm warnings and also the tornado warning in place just in the west of the metro. Severe thunderstorm warning, and again, don't take that lightheartedly compared to a tornado warning. We have strong damaging winds coming out of these thunderstorms. This goes until 6:45. It does include Carver, Hennepin, McLeod, Nicollet, Sibley, and Wright counties. You can see Waconia, Belle Plaine. It's just about to move into your location. Buffalo, 6:35 p.m. In a couple of minutes, you're going to see it move in here. Here's the timing. Chaska, 6:45 p.m. Minnetonka, 6:48 p.m. Obviously, we have lakes. We love being out on the lakes. It's Memorial Day. Please make sure a lot of people heed these warnings and get off the water, because we are looking at damaging winds, obviously lightning. Minneapolis, we're going to give it till about 7, and then that should move in here. Again, the tornado warning in place. Now, this is a radar-indicated tornado. Still want to take it just as seriously. 7 p.m., that's for Wright County, and this is moving to the northeast at 70 miles per hour. Yes, 70 miles per hour. These storms are flying. So that means you obviously need to make it into your safe place very fast so that you can stay safe. Lowest level of your home, as many walls between you and outside as possible. That's why we give you these tornado warnings, so that you have that heads up as it's off to your south, starting to head your way. So again, keep in mind, these are your times. Find your town that is closest to you, and then make sure you get into your safe place before the storm does push on through. So it looks like we have an update here. We're going to continue to watch the tornado warnings here from Watertown, looking out to St. Michael, just off to the south of Annandale. And again, looking at this bow of thunderstorms from Annandale down to Belle Plaine, it is moving from west to east, of course. So that is why we're going to continue to track it as it makes its way closer to Minneapolis. Wind shear is basically spin, and when you have spinning with height, you have wind shear. Well, that is why we do have the tornado warning in place. Again, it's not confirmed, but this just goes to show that we are seeing on radar, the National Weather Service is seeing on radar the hint of circulation. Because this is so close to the Doppler radar, that makes it a little bit harder to be able to note where we have rotation. These are basically storm relative winds, and when we have red meet green, that is usually when we have a tornado. So because of that, we basically just have to rely on where we have this thunderstorm reflectivity in place. And of course, the darker the hue, the stronger, the heavier the rain you're looking at, and the stronger the thunderstorm. We'll take a look at how much lightning is involved with this. One thing, when it comes to severe thunderstorms, you can predict if they are starting to die out as the lightning actually diminishes. So you can actually tell that these thunderstorms could be dying out based upon that lightning diminishing. As we watch this move to the east, also notice with that radar loop how it is not necessarily just west to east. It has a bit of a northeasterly component with it. And we've been watching that with this band of storms going throughout this evening, really. So we still have the tornado warning in place here. Looking at the severe thunderstorm warning just around it. So we'll go ahead and stop the radar, and we'll take out the lightning, and we'll go back to that severe thunderstorm warning area, and also want to get to the tornado warned area and try and time it out as we get closer to Minneapolis. So if you're in the Twin Cities, the metro area to the east of Waconia, Buffalo, you're looking at a thunderstorm headed your way shortly that could produce 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Also, the potential of tornadoes being embedded in this. So that is why we are giving you a heads up, even if you're to the east of this storm, because we continue to watch this just to the south of Buffalo. Again, it's a radar-indicated tornado. It's in Wright County. And the tornado, and also ping-pong-sized hail. So we've had a couple of hail reports out there, but we're looking at mainly a wind damage situation. So this storm was located over Montrose, 10 miles southwest of Buffalo, but it's moving to the northeast at 70 miles per hour. So as we watch this storm move off to the northeast, that is why those of you in Buffalo want to make sure you make your way to your safe place. This is just on your doorstep. Same deal as we go to Delano. Waconia, Cologne, you guys are just to the east of this, and I'll show you how it is pretty much racing just from the west to the east. So we're going to continue to watch this move on into the metro shortly, the rest toward the Twin Cities at least. And then as we look out from French Lake down to Belle Plaine, that's where we're watching these storms move through. So if you look at the entire state of Minnesota, this is stretching from basically the northern part of the state up Cabin Country off to the south. We still have plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings up to the north. Want to make sure everyone is aware of that, and also notice that tornado warning that is in place there, because we are anticipating some embedded tornadoes within this whole line. This whole line is what we call a bow echo, and a bow echo is indicative of having some embedded tornadoes in it, but especially straight line winds. And straight line wind damage, again, can be just as bad as any type of tornado. So that is something that you really have to watch out for, even if it is just a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go ahead and progress this. There's the latest update to the tornado warning that is in place. This is just to the south of Elk River. This one's moving, again, radar indicated. It's in Wright County. This one goes till 7 p.m. And this is just over Buffalo now. So like I said, it was headed toward Buffalo. It's just over Buffalo now. It's moving northeast at 70 miles per hour. Looking at the potential, we do not have any confirmation of a tornado on the ground yet, but anytime you have rotation, there is that possibility. Also golf ball size hail. So we're going to have to continue to watch for that potential with some of these storms. Again, if you are to the east of this line of thunderstorms, then you want to make sure that if you can get if you have time at least, get your car in the garage. You were looking at hail coming, the potential of some damaging winds, and then you should know where your safe place is always before this does come through. I timed it out. This is the tornado warning. Like I said, this thing is, all of these thunderstorms are moving very fast. And also all these tornadoes, a lot of them are rain wrapped. So that's why you can't necessarily go outside and watch them. If you're underneath a tornado warning, you just need to heed that warning, because sometimes you can't necessarily see them. So we've already seen it move through Buffalo. We're going to continue to see it move to the northeast. Notice it's kind of a shorter tornado warning there. As we get a little bit closer, as we go down to, okay, another tornado warning there was just issued. We do have reports of golf ball size hail out in Buffalo, so that did actually come to fruition there. Golf ball size hail being reported by a storm chaser, actually, out into Buffalo. And it looks like they're going to continue to bring these severe thunderstorm warnings and also tornado warnings further off to the east. So let's take a look at this other tornado warning in place. This goes till 6:45 p.m. This is for Central Wright. They basically just continue to push this further off to the east. So it's for Central Wright and northwestern Carver counties. And this goes till 6:45, like I said, looking at the potential for ping pong ball size hail, obviously, since we did have that reported. That is on the way. And then also the tornado warning, something that they're going to have to watch. Let me explain this to you as I zoom this out a little bit more. So we have this whole line of thunderstorms that's moving from west to east, right? At the western part of the state is where we had those supercells in place. We had confirmed tornadoes and also damage. And then notice that as that storm line continued to progress to the east, or those storms progressed to the east, they did form a line. Now that we have a straight line going from north to south, that is when we do have the potential of seeing some straight line winds. 60 to 80 mile per hour winds are still possible with some of these storms. That being said, embedded in some of these straight line, or this line, excuse me, of thunderstorms is where we watch for some rotation and the potential for tornado warnings. Right now we have 2 on the board. These are just off to the west, and we're going to continue to watch them move to the northeast. So here's the latest. Again, Carver and Wright County. These are both radar indicated. Hopefully we'd be able to get some confirmation if we start to see anything on the ground, since we are going into such a populated area. But if you are in that red area, then you definitely want to make sure you make your way to your safe place.
Lisa, if I can ask a question real quick, something you said during our newscast earlier I think stood out to me when we were talking about the severity of this storm. We know it's severe weather season. We've had severe weather in the past several weeks, but there was a certain label that the National Weather Service put on this entire event.
Yes.
What is that, if you can explain it to us, and the rarity of it occurring?
It's called a particularly dangerous situation, and that has to do with our tornado watch here. So if you remember on May 9th, basically 2 weeks ago, there was a severe thunderstorm watch that was in place. We had a bow echo come through, and that was a particularly dangerous situation also. But we have this time this tornado watch, a particularly dangerous situation, which has been, we haven't had one in Minnesota for 9 years. So the difference between that is the government puts together these severe thunderstorm watches, right? So basically in Norman, Oklahoma, you have the Storm Prediction Center. The Storm Prediction Center takes a look at the entire country, and they choose where they think the worst of the severe weather is. When they do that, they put out the watches, and with a particularly dangerous situation, then that is when they see a likelihood of multiple strong F2, F3, or also violent EF4, 5 tornadoes. And that just recently did push in when it came to the watch here, including the metro. So this straight line here is where we're going to have to continue to watch the potential of damaging winds and also tornadoes. Now, I do think that tornadic threat is a little bit lower since we are further off to the east, but it is still something that we have to watch out for, especially since we're going into such a populated area. Let's check back in when it comes to the severe thunderstorm warning. As we continue to get closer here to the Twin Cities, we still have the tornado warning out near Michael. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for Anoka, Sherburne, Stearns, Wright, and those counties, until 7:15, and that is a radar indicated severe thunderstorm warning. That's basically just showing that we don't have a lot of reports per se coming in out of that, but these storms are extending from near White Park to Monticello, and they're moving to the northeast at 65 miles per hour. Wind gusts of 70 miles per hour are possible, and also golf ball size hail. So I'm going to zoom this out. We're going to put it in motion loop, and we'll be able to see when it'll be moving into your town. And not only that, but if you look from St. Cloud along this bow down to Waconia and Belle Plaine, if you are to the east of that, then you're looking at this line of storms starting to make its way into your area within the next hour or so. So please make sure you get ready to go to your safe place. There we continue to see an update when it comes to some of these severe storms. Looking out to Maple Lake, where we do still have that tornado warning in place. Again, it's a radar indicated tornado warning. We don't have any confirmation of it yet, but that's because it's radar indicated, basically showing that rotation that could support circulation on the ground. This is moving to the northeast, so this is over Buffalo, moving to the northeast at 70 miles per hour. And if you are to the northeast of this storm, then you definitely want to make sure that you are in your safe place. Zooming out a little bit and timing out when we'll continue to see this push into the Twin Cities. It will, within the next hour or so, we'll see if it does stay severe thunderstorm warned or not, because if you watch the loop, it's possible we could see it start to diminish, but we are still going to have to track that potential as we go throughout the next couple of hours. We're going to continue to watch this move on through. Let's look a little bit further up to the north here. And there we can see the severe thunderstorm warning, along with stopping it, about to head into Elk River. So if you are in the Elk River area, Baldwin, Andover, just through St. Cloud, this storm is basically over you in St. Cloud. This is going to continue to move through and move to your east.
I'm going to jump in real quick, Lisa. We're getting a live look at our traffic cam in the Monticello area off of I-94. You can see the rain being pushed by that wind so intensely, it looks like it's moving from right to left, not straight down. This was clear about 30 seconds ago. Really concerned about those vehicles on the road. We've warned you ahead of time with this type of weather coming in to do your best to not be traveling. This part of our area here to the west is under a tornado warning. So this is the type of situation where if you were in a car, we'd hope that these people are trying to seek shelter. If you're in your home, we hope that you're already in or on your way to your safe space, whether that be a basement or an interior room that has no windows. And of course, if you're outside, likely you are already seeking shelter at this point. But if you have not yet, we want you to get indoors into a stable structure, not a shed, not a storage facility, but some sort of maybe brick, cement building with a solid foundation that will keep you protected. The cars on this road, I'm sure, struggling to even see what's directly in front of them for a short distance as our camera is just, or I should say the MnDOT camera, getting covered with water along I-94. Again, not far from Monticello, one of many areas currently in the midst of a tornado warning. This is a storm we want you guys to take seriously. As Lisa said, we already have 2 confirmed tornadoes, and this is not finished. This is a particularly dangerous situation where the probability of a tornado is extremely high, and that's already been proven, and it's still continuing to this point. So again, a very active situation. What we've seen reported as far west as Florida, pardon my pronunciation there, many of us still learning how to make sure to say it, and Milan, that type of a weather event is headed our way into the metro. I look outside the WCCO studios, I still have yet to see a raindrop, but we need to understand that what we're seeing on this screen right now and what people experienced within the past 2 hours is coming your way if you are in the metro, east of it, and even western Wisconsin. And of course, Lisa is tracking this long band from north to south. It almost feels as though this storm has gotten larger just based on how far it stretches from north to south, including so much more of central Minnesota.
We can go ahead and take a look at, once again, further up to the north, we had areas to the northwest actually drop off with some of those severe thunderstorm watches that were in place. You could see the western part of the state of Minnesota, all of those, or excuse me, tornado watches have dropped off. We do have the metro underneath a tornado watch until 10 p.m. as this line continues to push through. And that doesn't mean that this won't be extended. It's very possible that we'll see that extend out into portions of western Wisconsin as we continue to see this line move from west to east. Something we're going to continue to look at closer when it comes to that radar loop, the line of severe thunderstorm warning and also tornado warnings that are in place. So pick out your county and make sure you do pay attention. When it comes to Aitkin, Itasca, and St. Louis, it's a radar indicated tornado in place, but you could see that this line stretches from the north further off to the south. And St. Cloud, probably seeing those thunderstorms pushing through right now. Buffalo did just have those thunderstorms push through, and the tornado warning has dropped off. So we did have a tornado warning. It was a radar confirmed tornado, but still have to take that seriously. That was through the Buffalo area. That has dropped off. So that is some good news. Still looking at Andover, Cambridge, and locations to the northeast. That is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning in place till 7:15, and we're looking at golf ball size hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds possible with this. Timing it out here shortly, we'll see it push on into St. Michael, 6:53, Elk River, 6:58, Mound at 7, Chaska at 7:04, Maple Grove, also looking out to Hopkins. Here's that forecast. So you saw, or we had, some supercell tornadoes across the western part of the state of Minnesota earlier. As this line of storms pushed from west to east, it became more linear in a way, as opposed to just single supercells. And then inside of this line, that is when we did end up having some of the tornado warnings. We haven't had any confirmed tornadoes, but we are still going to have to watch this line closely as it does continue to progress further off to the east until it finally would move out of here. But we're going to have to wait until, I would say we're not going to clear this. Well, obviously not until 10. 10 p.m. is when we have the severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. But we'll watch as these thunderstorms start to push their way here into the Twin Cities shortly. Severe thunderstorm warnings in place. Also that one tornado warning. This is up across the north, especially a lot of people spending the holiday out at their cabins. Hopefully they have the WCCO weather app, or they have a way of getting an alert when we have this type of a situation, because we have these spin-ups that do move on in here. We'll continue to focus in a little bit closer to the Twin Cities. Notice that line of storms is just off to our west. Now, it's not severe thunderstorm warning just off to our west yet, so we'll see if it does continue to keep its strength as it does push from the west to the east. I'm reading now this the Storm Prediction Center, like I was just talking about, how they named this a particularly dangerous situation earlier with those storms further off to the west. That meant that they were looking at a widespread tornadic event, really. It looks like they're not. It is not likely that they are going to add more when it comes to the basically sending it a little bit further off to the south and to the southwest. All right, so as we look from St. Cloud further off to Buffalo, severe thunderstorm warning because of these storms moving northeast at 70 miles per hour. And we are looking at this expiring at 7:15. And then here I did time it out for you. Chaska coming in at 7. Maple Grove, 7:10. Hopkins coming in at 7:12. And we'll watch this, again, the forecast does continue to pull it further off to the east. As we get a little bit closer here to the Twin Cities, we'll go ahead and watch as it pushes into, hopefully we can pick it up on our sky cam. Should be able to pick this up just to our west, at least looking out to our west. What does it look like on our sky cam looking west, our tower camera here in the Twin Cities? Or do we have any of our cameras looking west to see if we can see the storms coming in a little bit closer? If not, then we will just have to continue to track it here. Okay, here we go. So taking a look to St. Paul right now. Now this is from St. Paul looking to the west, and you can see that there's some movement there with the storms, and also, or excuse me, with that camera, and then also looking at that cloud cover in place. So it is going to start becoming a little bit more dark as we head into the next, I'd say 30 to 40 minutes. This one a little more impressive looking, and of course that's because the storms are moving from west to east. And that means that we have the cloud cover in place, and it'll hit us here in the Twin Cities first.
Jump in real quick. We showed you that camera from MnDOT in the Monticello area. We knew that there was a tornado warning. I'm looking at the National Weather Service's feed on Twitter, telling us that there have been several reports of trees down with this line of storms, including onto homes, and they're speaking about the St. Cloud area all the way over to Andover to the east, Ramsey, Minnesota. Again, that line of I-94 stretching directly from St. Cloud heading east and also heading southeast straight down towards the Minneapolis area. Winds so intense that cars were starting to pull over on I-94 rather than drive. We're talking gusts of 70 miles per hour and potentially golf ball sized hail. So again, all these types of weather that we're describing, if you are just east of these locations, this is what Lisa is trying to warn you about, that it's not just certain parts of Minnesota. It feels like just a huge swath from north to south is about to experience this. So again, the National Weather Service reporting down lines and trees onto homes, warning people to get indoors if you're not already and move away from those windows.
Thank you, Jeff. And we're going to continue to watch this. It's just about to push its way into the western part of the metro. I've been looking to see if we have any other storm damage reports. We obviously had those 2 tornadoes that were confirmed across the western part of the state. A lot of tree down reports coming in from law enforcement, and that doesn't surprise me because that's what I've been saying. These types of lines of thunderstorms often do produce exactly that. That's where you're looking at straight line wind damage. We can zoom this out and put it in motion, and you could see a little bit more of an idea as to where we're going to get these severe thunderstorms pushing in next. First, again, reminder, the tornado watch is in place from the northern part of the state, looking further off to the south. That goes until 10 p.m. Basically, they're putting the tornado watch for all of the counties that are either in that line or to the east of that line. So that is why we had that tornado watch that is in place. Here's your radar, very active. Look at these severe thunderstorm warnings stretching all the way from the north of the state, all through Cabin Country. Throw in a tornado warning just pretty much in the midst, and that's because of those embedded tornadoes, and then all the way down to Wright County. And there are even some more severe thunderstorm warnings further off across the southwestern part of the state. So we are clear of this line of thunderstorms from St. Cloud, Buffalo to the west. Hutchinson, Forest City, Wilmer, you guys are clear of this line of thunderstorms and the straight line winds. But what we're seeing here is a continuous severe thunderstorm warning putting in place when it comes to these tornadoes across, or excuse me, these storms that are across the North Metro. So until 7:15 p.m. is where we have this severe thunderstorm warning. Look at your counties there. If your county is in there, you're looking at the potential of 70-mile-per-hour winds. And you want to take this just as serious as you would a tornado warning, because those are damaging winds that can be just as dangerous as tornadic winds. A lot of reports coming in here from the National Weather Service stating that we're seeing damage here with wind, mainly trees down, as Jeff was saying. Looking at some wires, wires down. We're starting to see some of these reports coming in from Orono, Mound, those different types of locations, watching as this storm does continue to push through. So it'll be pushing into the Twin Cities here rather shortly. Going to step in real quick for you, Lisa. We have Caroline Cummings on the phone with us right now. She started her evening in the Next Weather Tracker out in the Sauk Center area to report on the storms that were out west. Wow, you can see clear skies from the camera at the moment, but the story is really what happened before those clear skies arrived. Caroline, where are you at right now? Where are you headed?
So, Jeff, we are on our way to check out some reported damage south of Korea. And what we saw, you can see now, beautiful, clear skies. That was far from the story just about an hour ago when we were in Sauk Center. We sheltered in a gas station, truck stop. Very quickly, it got dark very fast. It was a mix of cold and warm air. Rain held off for a bit, but then came kind of with a vengeance there, very, very aggressively. We just tried to get into Ferrata, if I'm saying that correctly, and there were trees down blocking the main entryway, main county road. So we're right now doing a back. We're taking kind of a back way into the town. We just went around this lake called Lover's Lake, and we saw a couple trees down, split trees, dotting along the path we're taking. It's a dirt road, but we were told by, looks like the local sheriff's office, that we could not pass through that road because there was trees down along that main entryway into the town. So that's kind of where we're at right now. You wouldn't know that there was severe weather here not too long ago, based on how lovely it is outside now, Jeff.
Yeah, pretty incredible to see the clear skies, understanding what came through. Again, that's our Caroline Cummings heading towards Forata, where we knew that there was a tornado that touched down and one that caused damage. I know we've seen pictures shared by storm chasers of homes that looked just about leveled. So again, we have a crew on our way to find out if people are injured, the extent of the damage. First, thank you, Caroline. Let's send it right back to Lisa Meadows with the latest.
Here's where that line of thunderstorms is, and she is to the west of that. So that's why we're saying you're clear from this line. But notice, off to the southwest, there are still some severe thunderstorm warnings. So further off to the west, we're not completely done with the thunderstorm threat. Hopefully, this is most of the worst that we'll be seeing, especially with the tornadic threat. Here it is right now, latest radar scan, severe thunderstorm warning here across the North Metro until 7:15 p.m. If you're in those counties, you're looking at the potential of 70-mile-per-hour winds, or also looking at the potential of golf ball size hail. We'll, of course, come back to let you know if these thunderstorms do stay severe and move on out of here.